Students, parents, colleagues, friends, and family, thank you all for being here tonight as we celebrate the accomplishments of this year's 38 new members of the National Honor Society. I'd like to start by offering my heartfelt congratulations to our new inductees. You've earned the right to be here this evening, and we are all very proud of you. So why am I here? Let me start from the beginning. When a pack of 4 of the regional's current members of the National Honor Society cornered me a few weeks ago in the foreign language office, I was naturally worried that I was in some sort of trouble. But I was both greatly relieved and profoundly panic-stricken when they asked me if I would say a few words at tonight's ceremony. Needless to say, I proudly and humbly agreed, and so here I am. Still, when I began thinking about what I wanted to say here this evening, I could not help but think, why me? A quick glance at my academic record would reveal that I was never a member of the National Honor Society in high school. And yet, somehow I found myself in the organization's panel for 6 years. I never took an AP course, not even AP Spanish, and yet I've had the privilege and the honor of teaching AP Spanish language and literature for the last 13 years. More importantly, there are so many talented, inspirational, and frankly, more eloquent teachers in this school than me. In contrast, most students here tonight barely hear me speak English in their classes. And when I do, my skills are likely questionable at best. Given this information, I thought perhaps that I was invited because students here know that while I do not have the vocabulary of Mr. Restaino or the quick wit of Mr. Koch, I do like talking, both English and Spanish. But then I realized that no one likes long-winded speeches, so not even members of the National Honor Society, so I was still a little stumped. So as I continued to ponder this burning question of why me, I began thinking about how I've changed as a teacher and a learner over the course of my academic life, which for me has really been my whole life. As I continue to refine my craft, I've come to realize that the teacher's voice is not the one that should resound through the classrooms and hallways of great schools, with all due respect to Mr. Restaino, of course. It is the voice of you, the students, that must be heard as your teachers facilitate your learning and inspire you to develop your ideas and pursue your interests. So, after much reflection, I have determined the real reason why I was chosen. Since it is fairly well known, I think, that I rarely lecture in my classes, the wicked smart members of the National Honor Society logically and deviously calculated that I would not lecture you all tonight, at least not for long. I think they are partially right, but I'll let you, the members of the audience, and the members of the National Honor Society, be the judge when I finish. Whatever the reasons, I can say without any reservation that it is truly an honor and a privilege to have been selected by students to speak to you all tonight. It's truly the greatest gift that a teacher can receive. The greatest gift that a teacher can receive is the admiration and respect of his students. And I thank you for bestowing that great honor on me this evening. I've been lucky enough to share my classroom with many of these young men and women, both soon to be inducted and already members of the National Honor Society. And I know from classroom experience and my years in the National Honor Society faculty board that being inducted into this hallowed institution is no small feat. As newly inducted members of the National Honor Society, you have all set high expectations for yourself, high standards for yourselves, your peers, and your teachers. Your academic records are clearly impressive, having achieved a minimum of 3.5 GPA in some of our school's most challenging courses. But it is not simply your grades that define you as successful students. In many cases, this series of numbers and letters that some of you obsessively check on Aspen, and you know who you are, do not even really reflect the true learning that you have gained at this school. You have been inducted into this elite organization because you have demonstrated qualities that go far beyond simple numbers and letters. You've been identified as people with the talent, motivation, and desire to improve our community, our country, and our world. Along with scholarship, National Honor Society recognizes character, service, and leadership as qualities its members must possess. These are the characteristics that I hope will stay with you as you continue the journey that is your life. Make no mistake, your peers look up to you and your actions have an effect on our community. Your induction to the National Honor Society comes with the responsibility of exhibiting these qualities every day. But your role expands far beyond the walls of the school. The world needs people like you now more than ever, as we confront challenges that were unimaginable to previous generations. But while you all must confront these heavy things that loom in your not too distant future, the most important message I feel I can give you tonight is really a very simple one, and one that I repeat probably way too often. Remember to live in the present. Too often, students are caught in the whirlwind that comes with being a busy young adult and a successful high school student. Everyone seems to be worried about the next thing, the next test, the next paper, the next project, the next year. And it all leads to finally getting into a good college. And what do you need to do to get into a good college? Get good grades. But is that it? Is that what defines you? I fear that as educators, we sometimes send the wrong message to our students. Too often, we ourselves are concerned with the next thing, the next unit, the next test, the next semester, to embrace spontaneity and take risks. We must have grades posted in Aspen, so we must give tests and quizzes. The crippling anxiety that this cycle produces is contagious, and for many years, we have not been able to escape its wrath. But, good news. Things are changing. Trust me when I tell you that we are lucky to be at a school where risk-taking and innovation is not only becoming acceptable, but encouraged, regardless of whether or not the school has issued you an iPad. I urge you all to take advantage of this philosophical shift, to take more out of your education here and beyond. Put learning first. Understand how you learn. Learn how to help others. Talk to your teachers about what you want to learn. Those are skills that transcend all the content-based information you take in on a daily basis. Those are skills that cannot be memorized and regurgitated on a piece of paper only to be forgotten in a week. Take these skills with you as you move on to whatever your next thing is, and make sure that that next thing is what makes you happy. Not just another series of tests, papers, and regurgitated information. Clearly, taking this road requires courage. You will stumble and fall on the way, but you must not be afraid of failure. And you must remember that you are not alone. You will find teachers everywhere. Your best teachers will continue to appear in many places, in classrooms and workplaces, in busy cities and on lonely paths, at home and abroad. And they will be your partners in learning. You can always recognize the best teachers, not as those who simply commend your successes, but those who also recognize and applaud your failures. Winston Churchill said, in the spirit of everybody giving a quote, success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Too often our traditional educational system discourages risk-taking, forgetting that no one accomplishes anything great without experiencing failure. In the traditional school environment, failure is dangerously associated with the grade of an F, clearly unacceptable by National Honor Society standards. And yet it is absolutely essential that you as leaders recognize and embrace your right to fail, as it is an essential part of the road to your success. Don't be afraid of talking to your current and future teachers, whoever they may be, about taking risks and exploring your passions within any given subject, especially if it helps our world. I think you will find that now more than ever, your teachers, whoever they may be, recognize the difference between true learning and playing school. You have established a reputation of excellence. Use it to make your education here and beyond even better, so that you are well prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. As members of the National Honor Society, with a proven track record and a stellar reputation in our community, I challenge you to put learning first. I challenge you to take control over your own education. I challenge you to help others recognize the value of real learning. You are in the prime of your educational experience at a time of unprecedented change in the way we learn and help others. Unprecedented change. Take advantage of it. Finally, every senior who is on the verge of completing this year's AP Spanish Literature and Culture course, just like every other year with me, many of whom are here tonight as members of the National Honor Society, have likely rolled their eyes at least once when they've heard me say that in every poem we've read that there's some message of carpe diem. But there's a reason why the expression carpe diem is omnipresent in almost every culture. Seize the day. It's not just an expression. It's a guide to living your life completely and without regret. I hope each and every one of you takes advantage of every moment you experience. Opportunity presents itself at inopportune times and places. You must have your eyes open to recognize it. And I will leave you tonight with another quote and I challenge you to find it. If you can find my high school yearbook from 1993, under the photo of the kid who looks like he's 12 years old, is a quote that in many ways has identified my philosophy on a life well lived, which is a work in progress for me as well as everybody else. Although the words came from Henry David Thoreau's Walden, I was pretty smart back then, they just as easily could have come from my late father in the twilight of his short but remarkable life. And it goes like this: to affect the quality of the day, that is the highest of the arts. Thank you, and congratulations again on your induction into the National Honor Society. And lest you forget, carpe diem.